So let's get into what we got going on today. Okay. Now I know some of y'all done seen this mold before, huh? Me too. We ain't gonna talk about how it's been sitting in my inventory though for almost 2 years, and this is my first time using it. Well, y'all, I don't know, but she got pulled on up out of there today, and she's been created with purpose and intent. So guess what? I know she gonna be good, and I'm so glad that y'all are here to create her with me. So, quick backstory: met a wonderful creator on TikTok by the name of Crystallized Visions, and that's crystallized with the K. Okay, she was actually on live creating one of her own custom pieces. See, she makes these gorgeous wire wrapped frame glasses. Listen, y'all, technique, craftsmanship, all that top tier. Bottom line, I wanted one of her pieces, so I offer her one of my pieces. Yep, the good old barter and trade system. And since she was a lot goddess herself, I knew that this mold was going to be perfect for her. And I'm excited to do it. Now for the skin tone, and I know I should have mixed this on camera, but I didn't. And I promise I'm going to tell y'all that. So for the skin tone, I use this golden labradorite mica powder. Mix some bronze stone mica powder in there to get this honeybee pop skin tone. Yeah, that's what we gonna call that. Good old honeybee pop skin tone. And y'all gonna hear me say we quite often because guess what, y'all in here at this point, we in this thing together. It's a us we thing. Now for this border, what we did was mixed a bunch of foil flakes together. I'm talking gold foil flakes, rose gold, magenta, burnt umber orange, copper, turquoise, and I ain't even know that they made turquoise foil flakes, but they do, and we mix all that together to get this beautiful, colorful border. So I'm using my good old 1-2 combination, my stick and toothpick. Don't clown me about the toothpick, because listen, it gets in every crack, crease, crevice, and line. Okay, never let me down. Best tool in my arsenal. I'm not saying you gotta go out and get no toothpicks, but the suggestion is made. Cut a corner where you can cut a corner. You know what I'm talking about? You can get about 200 of them things for less than $2. And I promise you, they have never let me down. Now, I knew I wanted to add some real beads to this piece. For those of you who are not familiar with this mold, there are breaks in the locks, for like embellishments. Because us lot girlies, we like to be a little bit extra with our hair from time to time. Yeah, and I love it. So I'm using my UV resin and my UV light to seal down these beads that I put in the back because I will be adding a flood coat at the end, and I'll need these beads rolling all around because the devastation and disparity of doing all of this work and then demolding it and it's a bead like stuck in her eye somewhere, just something ain't what it's supposed to be, is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I promise you it is. So hence the reason why I'm gonna add the rest of the beads once we demold it. Because we ain't even finna play with it. Now her only color suggestion was copper. So I mixed in a metallic copper acrylic paint with the bronze stone mica powder. Mix those two together, got this deep, rich copper color. So that's what I'm adding to the highlights, being careful to take my time because these spaces aren't very deep. So I'm not using a whole lot of resin. So for those of you who do try, don't go into it just pouring it in there because you're going to be having a whole lot of cleanup. And you don't want to do that. Take your time, stay in the lines. Take your time, stay in the lines. Take your time, stay in the lines. Yeah, you don't want to clean up that mess, but I'm quite sure that if you don't stay in the lines and you don't take the time to clean it up, it's going to show when you pull the piece out. As I said, you don't want to do all this work for it to not come out right. So take your time, stay in the lines. Now I do have a little color scheme to go along with the copper. As you see, it just popped up, but I'm gonna tell you what happened because I thought I was recording and I wasn't, and I just sat down and kept on going. But the color scheme that I had to go along with the copper was like a teal cream color combination. Why? Because I feel like those colors mesh well together. I feel like they complement each other. So that's what I did. Now for the teal color, I mixed a shiny malachite type mica powder with the turquoise blue because I wanted it to be more on the green side than the blue side. And then for the white, I added a milky white. It's kind of like a cream color. So I added the milky white acrylic paint to kind of break those dark colors up a little bit, break up the texture of those two darker colors and bring a little bit more balance to everything. And now, see there? Look how that came out. Look at what we did. Look at that honeybee pop skin tone and that beautiful border. I'm in love. Now we're going to add this flood coat that I was talking about earlier. And we're going to do that in all black. Why? Because it's going to fill in all of the spaces that I didn't touch. So the remainder of the hair, the eyebrows, eyelashes, all that is going to be black. So I'm taking my time to make sure I get around all of the edges. I'm not filling it completely because it's going to be a clot. So I'm going to add a couple top coats on there, to thicken it up in the front. Now, I would say that I waited 24 hours, but I'd be lying to y'all. Hence the reason why baby is folding up out of there like an omelet. But she pretty, though. She is. Now, for my resin, I don't have to wait 24 hours necessarily on it to demold it, but the suggestion is to wait 24 hours. Now, I did let it sit and cure a little bit longer, though, before I added all these beads that y'all missed me putting on there, because what had happened again was I thought I was recording and I wasn't. Now, I told you that her craftsmanship was wire wrapping. So, I tried my hand at it a little bit just to give it a little personalized touch, make it special for her. And I did pretty good. I think I did pretty good with that. And found out that she was a Libra as well on that live. Me too. Gang, gang. So I added a little Libra, little embellishment on there as well. Look at that. Look at the highlights. Look at how their skin tone is popping. I love it when the plan comes together. Look at the 3D effect of those beads. Everything is color coordinated. Yeah, I could do my happy dance. Yeah. Now it's time to put the top coat on there. Why? Because that's the chef's kiss to your piece. I promise you it is. You know how when you demold your piece, it comes out looking like a little matte, like ashy? I'll say a little bit. Add that top coat on there because that's going to bring the shine, the vibrance back to your piece. See how it's making the colors more vibrant? It's just going to make your piece come back alive. Now, I'm not telling y'all what to do. I will never do that, but put that top coat on there. That's all I'm going to tell. That's all I'm going to say. I promise you it is. Now, another reason for me putting this top coat on is because I want to make sure I seal in all of the beading. Now, although I did use my UV resin and my UV light to cure it all, I ain't too confident in that too much. But I do know that with this top coat, ain't nothing going nowhere. I have full confidence that I don't care what you do to this piece. Everything is going to be where it's supposed to be, because that's what that top coat does for you. Now, especially if you're selling your pieces, put that top coat on there. Like I say, it just makes your piece so much more vibrant. It just shows the love that you have for your piece. Does it take a little bit more resin? Yes. A little bit more time? Yes. But it is worth it. I promise you it is. Just be careful. Go around them edges. Make sure nothing is spilling over. As I said, it's a labor of love. This is your creativity. This is you bringing something that was in your mind to life. Do you know how special that is? That's real special. So go all out, be extra, go crazy. I try to do whatever I can do. Why? I'm gonna show you in a second. This is why. See that? And I used a bit of iridescent glitter, and with my clear top coat, give it a little shimmer and shine, a little bit of pop over the pop. Yeah, that's what that top coat do for you. Everything is color coordinated. I really hate that y'all missed me putting them beads together. I did a lot of work putting them, making sure all the colors match, but nevertheless came out beautiful. Now it's time to add our numbers and things. So I'm using my little makeshift clock piece thingy to map out my middle point. See where I'm going to put that, using my ruler to make sure that I space everything out. I don't want to just throw a bunch of numbers on here and call it a clock. And then, when I sell it to somebody, the hands is all in between the numbers and everything like that. No. I want to take my time with it. Make sure everything is evenly spaced and we do it how we supposed to do it. Now, I did do like a little mock of all the numbers on there, but because of the beading and everything like that, it was just a whole lot. So I just decided to use my wooden numbers. I'm using my gold leafing pen to kind of color it all in. It's going to give it like a rustic gold-like color. At least that's where I'm feeling like it's going to go. And then I'm going to put a top coat of my UV resin on it just to seal the color in, make the color a little bit more vibrant and all of that. Now I'm just going to do the main numbers, the 12, 3, 6 and the 9, because as I said, it was just a little bit crowded with all the numbers on there with the beading and all of that. So I'm going to use some little like gold stones for the rest of the numbers. I'm just going to make sure that they're not too big so that they're like mixing in with the beads, and not too small that it just kind of looks like I threw something else onto the clock. So as I said, this is me using putting my top coat of UV resin on here, curing it with my UV light, all of that, making sure everything is good. Now I'm gluing everything down. As I said, I used my little paper makeshift clock little thing to mark out all my points and everything. So I'm making sure everything is evenly spaced, taking my time to make sure that everything is evenly spaced, carefully placed, because it's easy and I'm using my E600 glue to glue the numbers down. After I finish this, I will be adding one more top coat on here, just like I said, to make sure everything is sealed in. I want to make sure that this stays a working, functioning piece for as long as possible. So here's the little gold little nugget stones that I'm going to use for the other numbers. And again, I'm making sure everything is evenly spaced. So I made a little marker on my toothpick. Listen, I did. There we go again with the toothpick, because it's multi-purpose. It gets the job done. But anyways, I made a little marker on my toothpick just to make sure that the little gold nuggets are evenly spaced as well out on here. As I said, I'm not playing around with it. I'm going to give the people what they want. I'm not just throwing something on here, putting it together and saying, hey y'all, I got a clock. So I don't want y'all to do that either. Take pride in everything that you do and just trust the process, because this here was giving me a hard time. Y'all can't tell, but it kind of was. It was a little bit frustrating. So had a little bit of cleanup to do, because I had to kind of move this around a little bit, because that was the one that I chose not to space out, and that's what I get for not doing it right. Now, time to add the clock mechanism. For me, I usually get mine from Hobby Lobby. Why? Because I'm always in that mud. I'm always in Hobby Lobby. That's like one of my favorite places as an adult to be. I don't know if that make me sound old or what the case may be, but listen, I love me some Hobby Lobby. So yes, this is where I generally get my clock pieces from, and they range depending on what style that you want to get. So they usually range from like $9, $10 and on. And yes, she is looking lovely. Look at that. I'm so excited. You know what we got to do next? Hang on the wall. Oh, isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she pretty? Yeah, Stevie Wonder said that. Listen, always remember that your creativity is a superpower. And for those of you who have it and are not using it, shame on you. Be divine by your design.